Welcome to this edition of Dudley's Coaching Corner, where you can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on my website, daviddudley.com. Today we're going to be discussing baits versus silent baits. Rattle and baits have their time and place. I've been asked a million times, David, what do you like to throw, rattle and baits or silent baits? Well, they do have their place or time. There's not one that I like to throw all the time, but most of the time I'm going to throw a silent. But I'm going to discuss a couple things with you. When I'm faced with choosing rattle versus silent, first question I want to ask, is this lake a lake that has a lot of pressure? Or is this a lake during this time of year that has a lot of pressure? Because think about this. If a bass gets caught 2 or 3 times throughout the course of a year on something that's loud, I mean, I might fall for it once, but I'm going to remember this, and then I'm going to remember, that hurt. Then I'm going to remember this, that hurt. That's a reminder of a painful situation, but there's no way of disguising a silent bait coming through the water. So when it comes to my choice, I'm going to ask these questions. Is this a lake that's pressured hard? Or is this a lake that is just coming in the season? What I mean by that is you have a time of the year, like from fall to winter to first part of spring, where most lakes, even pressured lakes, don't have that much pressure on them. So what I'm asking is this, is during that time, even if it's a pressure lake, is it getting much pressure then? Because when bass first come up in the spring, they haven't been pressured for 3 months, they are ready to get it on. So if you do throw a rattle and bait, they're like, hey, let's go over there and get that. And they're aggressive. You're catching them on rattle baits. We know rattle style baits are always good during the spring. Now, if we go to a silent bait, that's where we get more into the finesse style of fishing. So what I mean by that is this. If I know a lake is pressured very hard, then I'm going to go to a silent bait. A silent bait is something that they can't really hear, they can't distinguish whether it's live or unnatural or whatever it is. But a silent bait is also going to catch a fish that's pressured. So now that we understand that a lake that is pressured versus unpressured, the other instance I want to go to for a rattle bait is a muddy water situation. Muddy water rattle baits are good. But again, you've got to ask your question. Even if you're fishing a muddy river, a muddy lake, these fish get caught all year long too. They're an aggressive style fish. When the water's muddy, they have to take advantage of whatever they can see during that time. So if you're throwing the targets, I still like a silent bait. So case in point, this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you were to look in my box right now and say, hey, David, I wonder what's in David Dudley's box. Probably 75% of my baits are silent baits. The first bait I'm going to pick up is going to be a silent. I know that if I can catch them on a silent in pressured lakes, I can catch them on a silent anywhere else I go. But there are times for a rattle bait. I hope this helped you understand rattle versus silent and you catch more fish. Thanks for joining me on Dudley's Coaching Corner.